Guilty or not guilty, I'm Ellie La Liberté with the latest from the court appearance of the couple accused in a poison plot.
Plus, the woman involved in the Slender Man stabbing incident is being moved to Sun Prairie. How the community is reacting to that news.
And later, a climate journalist from Stoughton goes missing while hiking in Norway. We'll hear from his sister as search and rescue efforts continue. And we welcome you to News 3 Now at 6. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Eric Franke.
And I'm Sarah Carlson. The couple accused of poisoning women in Rock and Dane counties appeared in court today.
Paul Van Dyne and Andrea Whitaker are facing charges in both counties and entered their pleas today. Our Ellie La Liberté was there and joins us now from the Dane County Courthouse with what happened. Ellie?
Both Paul Van Dyne and Andrea Whitaker pleaded not guilty to all charges in Dane County today. According to court records, Van Dyne and Whitaker allegedly stalked and tried multiple times to kill two women that Van Dyne had previously been on dates with. Now, according to the criminal complaint, the two allegedly broke into cars, putting cyanide and thallium in water bottles and hydrogen sulfide and Abrin in car air vents. The Rock County victim says the poison put her in the hospital for 38 days. Now, in Dane County, Van Dyne is facing one count of conspiracy to commit first-degree intentional homicide. Now, that has changed from the 2 counts of first-degree intentional homicide that he was originally charged with. Van Dyne is also facing 1 count of stalking. Now, Whitaker is also facing 1 count of conspiracy to commit first-degree intentional homicide, 1 count of stalking, and additionally, 1 count of harboring and aiding a felon. The pair are facing additional charges in Rock County. Now, also in court today, Whitaker's defense moved to lower her bond, currently set at $4 million in Dane County. The judge denied that request.
She was a student, otherwise law-abiding person. She has no prior failures to appear. We are asking that the court reduce her bail to $10,000.
We're talking about poisons that can kill people in quite small amounts. I can't remember a case in which all these factors led me to believe that just an extraordinary amount of cash bail is necessary.
Van Dyne pleaded not guilty in Rock County Court just last week. I tried to speak with his attorney after the proceedings today. He told me they will not be making a comment at this time. Reporting live outside the Dane County Courthouse, Ellie La Liberté, News 3 Now.
All right, Ellie, thank you very much. And now to an update on the man charged with child sex crimes while working in the Sun Prairie School District. Robert Gilkey-Meisegeier appeared in court today for a preliminary hearing. He faces 15 felony charges, including possession of child pornography and child sexual exploitation. Today, a judge determined there is enough evidence to send the case to trial. An arraignment hearing has been scheduled for September 2nd.
A Janesville man accused of gathering materials to create chemical weapons will spend more than 2 years in federal prison. James Morgan pleaded guilty to possessing chemical weapon precursors not intended for peaceful purposes. The FBI searched his storage unit back in 2023 and found chemicals to produce a large amount of chlorine gas. That same year, Morgan allegedly sent messages about defeating the government and claimed that he could use chlorine against about 20 government agents. Agents also found 6 homemade pipe bombs in a safe in Morgan's trailer in Janesville.
Well, you're taking a live look right now at the Village Board in DeForest, where board members are voting to certify a recall for a trustee who pushed to remove fluoride from the drinking water. Bill Landgraf is accused of intimidating and acting disrespectfully toward village residents who disagree with him. Landgraf denies the allegations. If the village board vote passes, a recall election will happen on September 16th. News 3 Now's Maddie Heimsch will have more on tonight's vote. That's coming up tonight on News 3 Now at 10. Now to weather, the smoky conditions are slowly coming to an end. Let's check your first warn forecast. Here's Chief Meteorologist Alex Harrington. Alex?
Yes, slow and steady here, but eventually we'll win the race here. That smoke will get out of southern Wisconsin. Where is it lining up right now? Stretching from Madison right up along I-39, just east of the Dells, Marquette, Green Lake counties. You're likely seeing some fairly hazy conditions. And this smoke is going to meander about southern Wisconsin yet for one more night going on into Wednesday. And we can always see this with our First Warn Weather Cam network. This is the Mallard Sky Cam here. We got a game going on here. But if you take note here of the sky, it still has that hazy, milky white condition, that milky white color where it's rather stratiform, meaning it's just constant across the horizon. And that's that smokiness that we still have in the atmosphere. If you take a really close look here, if you look at the flags towards the bottom, towards the Channel 3 logo at the bottom, you see the flags are pointing from the north and east to the west. And that's the reason why we've been having all this smoky conditions, is that this smoke has been circulating in from Canada, from the north and from the east the past couple of days. But we're making some incremental improvement. This is in the moderate to unhealthy range for some, especially for areas east of Madison that we were just showing you with our current smoke conditions. What this means, if you're sensitive to the smoky conditions, that you would want to limit those outdoor activities as much as possible. But we're not in that range right now where we're saying you need to stay inside completely with the AC on. That's preferable, but you can get outside and take some breaks, though, is what's recommended. Upper 70s to the lower 80s, that's where we should be for this time of year. In Dane County, 77 in Sun Prairie, 80 in Verona. Well, we got a quad here. Cross Plains, Middleton, Verona, and Mount Horeb, all at 80 right here at 6 o'clock at night. And as we plan our evening, those hazy conditions, temperatures falling down into the upper 60s when you join us for the 10 o'clock newscast, and then down into the upper 50s tonight. In Maine weather, though, we're going to talk about warming on up and how humid the muggy meter's going to get. That's in just a couple moments when you see me next.
All right, thank you, Alex. A man is in jail for allegedly stealing from Westtown Mall this morning. At about 2 a.m., Madison police responded to the mall for a burglary. Security called police after finding broken glass near a store. Once on the scene, though, officers realized multiple stores had broken glass by their main entrances. They arrested a man found leaving one of those stores with a bag full of merchandise. He now faces multiple charges, including burglary.
A former Green Bay Packer has been convicted in a dogfighting case. A federal jury in Oklahoma found 54-year-old LaShawn Johnson guilty of a half-dozen felony counts related to possessing, selling, transporting, and delivering animals to be used in fighting ventures. Johnson, a former running back, played for the Packers, but also, as you see here, the Arizona Cardinals, also the New York Giants. Following the verdict, Johnson surrendered 190 dogs from his kennel. Officials said that is the largest number ever seized from a single person in a federal dogfighting case. Johnson faces up to 5 years in prison and a fine of up to $250,000 on each count. Morgan Geyser, the woman involved in the infamous Slender Man stabbing in Waukesha back in 2014, is being transferred to a facility in Sun Prairie.
News 3 Now's Jalen Banks spoke with the Sun Prairie Police Department and residents about community concerns.
After several years of living in a psychiatric facility in Oshkosh, Morgan Geyser, one of the accomplices in 2014 Slender Man stabbing, is now headed to a facility in Sun Prairie.
Definitely, it was kind of shocking, very unsettling.
That is what one Sun Prairie resident shared with me after they heard the news that Morgan Geyser, who was one of the 2 people convicted in 2014 Slender Man stabbing, would be moving to a facility in Sun Prairie. Geyser, along with her friend, stabbed a classmate of theirs several times.
We just don't know what to do. You know, where do we go for information? Where do we go to find out where this person is going to be? And, you know, is our community in danger?
I spoke with the Sun Prairie Police Department about Geyser coming to the city. They tell me they did not have much say in her transfer.
The chief and city attorney did have the opportunity to attend the court hearing, voice their concerns. Ultimately, it doesn't allow for the opportunity for the municipality to say no, in a sense. But it did allow for us to speak our concerns so that everybody could hear them. Ultimately, it's still the judge's decision.
For the time being, Sun Prairie Police Department will be working with the Department of Health Services on Geyser's transfer to the new facility.
They've been more than willing to help identify a way to create some community outreach, allow an opportunity for members of the community to voice concerns and then get some answers once the questions are posed. So both those are in the works. The safety plan still is being finalized.
Assistant Chief Cox tells me Thursday they will have a meeting with DHS to finalize plans for community outreach. For now, reporting in Sun Prairie, Jalen Banks, News 3 Now.
And the Sun Prairie Police Department said the facility Geyser will be staying in will not be made public.
Madison's Ride the Drive returns this weekend, which means there will be some road closures you need to be aware of. Multiple streets will close at 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Sunday. John Nolan Drive will close Olin Avenue to the South Blair-Willie Street intersection. And Willie Street will be closed from South Blair to South Ingersoll. Vehicles have to be removed from closed streets by 8 a.m. that day. On Sunday, again, is the date. You can find more information on closures at channel3000.com. And coming up next, the search is on for a missing Wisconsin hiker in Norway.
Yeah, after the break, the latest on the rescue efforts there and what his sister is telling us. Stay with us.
You're watching News 3 Now at 6.
The search is underway for a missing American journalist in Norway. He was hiking on a glacier last week.
As Arman Rahman found, his accomplished career carries a big legacy worldwide and here in his native Wisconsin.
Climate journalist Alec Lund has been missing in Norway for roughly a week. Back here at the UW School of Journalism, where he graduated, one of his professors says while she remembers him fondly, she wants to have hope that she'll see him again soon.
It's real. You know, he's reporting on the threats that we face, but there's a lot of optimism in them. If he can think about that in this changing, scary world that we're facing with this climate crisis, then I can keep that hope right now in this scary situation.
That scary situation, learning no one had heard from Alec since last Thursday in Norway.
It's of course very shocking, very scary.
Kathleen Barton-Culver had Alec as a student back in 2007. Last April, he was back as the spring science journalist in residence.
It's very fun to see a 19-year-old who just strikes you as curious from the jump become this award-winning climate journalist who then comes back to campus and sparks a passion in another generation.
But Tuesday morning, she got a text from a friend and former student that he was missing.
But I've always known Alec to be careful, and he wouldn't take any risk.
And stayed in a lot of harsh climates. He's worked in the Arctic.
His sister Drew tells News 3 Now from Norway the last they heard from Alec was a text before his 4-day solo backpacking trip on a Norwegian glacier.
It had been building and then it became real.
The Norwegian Red Cross posted on X the search resumed Tuesday morning after difficult rainy conditions.
I'm just hoping for a very, very big survival story.
We've had some people reach out from all over the world offering to come and help, offering insights.
You know, how are you still kind of holding on to hope?
Just the fact that he's very smart, he's experienced, and he has a real will to live. So I know he's out there.
Armand, thank you. Alec's sister asked for anyone with information or leads to reach out to her or Alec's wife on Instagram. Still ahead, online enrollment opens for the Madison School District soon. What parents need to know.
Plus, a group of area school districts come together to figure out ways to help students get to class.
And warmer weather on the way. Alex with the complete forecast after a short break.
You're watching News 3 Now at 6.
Today, the Madison Metropolitan School District hosted this year's Dane County Attendance Summit. This consisted of staff from about 10 area districts coming together to talk about ways to help families and students actually get to school. Attendance at schools has always been an issue, but some challenges of today's world are making it harder than in the recent past.
What we're doing is like innovating and connecting so that we can get our students to school. Because we know when students come to school, they get the resources that they deserve, and then our community is better for that.
The district says the summit was an opportunity for participants to align efforts, strengthen relationships, and empower their school communities, all to make meaningful and sustainable progress in student attendance.
Our Stuff the Bus campaign is underway in partnership with the Boys and Girls Club of Dane County. We are helping local students get ready to start the school year and ready to succeed. Until the 15th, we're collecting essential school supplies to support thousands of young students across Dane County, and you can help by dropping off donations at our drop-off sites. You can find all the information you need to help out at channel3000.com.
Well, a heads up for parents in the Madison School District. Online enrollment opens tomorrow. Every family has to do so on the online enrollment platform. If your student is already enrolled, you should verify or update information by completing the online enrollment application. Now, you do not need to create a new account. If you're new to the district, you'll be guided through the entire process in this platform. Enrollment staff are available to help by phone or in person. Well, the air quality is starting to get better, but the hot and humid conditions moving in. Here's Alex with the complete forecast.
Yeah, the hot, humid stuff's going to replace the smoky conditions as we have a weather pattern change. That's right around the corner. Let's get right to it here. High temperatures approaching 90 by the end of the week and then staying well into the mid to upper 80s all the way through the 10-day period. And that's anywhere between a few degrees to almost 10 degrees above normal. That's part one. Part two would be the mugginess that we're expecting too. Right now, it's still in that little humid to comfy range, but we're going to work our way up as you follow the yellow line here to very humid conditions to near oppressive. humidity levels by the time we get toward the end of the week and heading towards the upcoming weekend. So hot and humid, as Sarah was just saying, on the way. Wildfire smoke on the way out, but we got to get through about another 12 to, let's say, 18 hours or so, maybe 24 at most here, as we have greens and yellows. This is lower amounts of wildfire smoke than what we've been experiencing, but watch it just kind of swirl across southern Wisconsin as we get to about noon on Wednesday. That's when the air quality alerts east of Madison will be allowed to expire, and hopefully they will be fully allowed to expire. As we go into Thursday, take note that the smoke goes off towards the north and towards the east, because we're going to have a weather pattern coming in from the south and from the west. So a big pattern change on the way, and that's the warmth, that's the heat, that's the humidity that's back on the way to southern Wisconsin. Take note here, the orange icon, we're between toggling the yellow and the orange. That's moderate to unhealthy for some. That's an improvement because we've been in the orange to the red category for a number of days. But what this means is if you are susceptible to smoky conditions, it's still advised to limit your outdoor activities here as we go through at least the beginning to the middle part of Wednesday. That air quality warning, air quality alert, that's off towards the north and towards the east of 39 and along and just north of I-94. But that does count Dodge County, so our friends Juneau, Beaver Dam area up towards the Mayville area will still be experiencing some of those higher concentrations of that smoke for at least another 24 hours. Right around 60 for a low temperature tonight. Again, it's advisable, especially if you're in those areas in that air quality alert, to maybe leave the window shut overnight and let that AC run for another night here, even though it's going to get its run here momentarily. But refreshing air for a little bit as we go into Wednesday before that's replaced with that warm and those humid conditions, low to mid 80s on Wednesday. And then there we go. Let's take this full screen here. Highs up near 90 degrees as we head towards the upcoming weekend. Storm chances build back in with that heat and that humidity. This is the dog days of summer, as some call it, where it's 80s to near 90 by day, that muggy stuff by night in the 60s to near 70, and on and off storm chances.
And it is August.
It is August.
Right, thanks,
We're already a couple days into it.
Right.
And practice continues for the Packers. This gets to be the dog days of summer for them, too.
It sure does, and especially when you lose one of your main guys. We'll tell you about that coming up in sports, and there's just nothing worse than losing something that's already a scarcity. We'll tell you that injury news from Green Bay next on News 3 Now. Nate Hobbs could be the Packers' X factor this year. The quarterback was Green Bay's only addition to a room that frankly needed a lot of help this offseason, which is why today's news was especially unwanted. Hobbs has a torn meniscus and underwent surgery on Saturday to have it repaired. He will miss the rest of training camp, but after that, it's anyone's guess.
Unfortunately, he had to have something cleaned up, and we're hoping to get him back here sooner than later.
Anything concerning my body, I need to try to get on right away, and I felt like it was something that we needed to do. They gave me the option if I wanted to do it the next day or the day after. I'm like, we can do this today. Like right now, let's get it handled so I can get back.
Elsewhere in the NFL, Hunter Wohler had himself a day. The 7th-round draft pick out of Wisconsin had 2 interceptions in his Colts joint practice with the Ravens, one of those off of Lamar Jackson. Interestingly, Wohler did not do it as a safety. He was lined up as a linebacker. Well, I was always told I had a face for the radio, which must be why I was on Mason Crosby's radio show this morning. The Packers' all-time leading scorer is a cautious optimist about Wisconsin football and their scary schedule this year.
Mason, do you think that they can get to 7 wins this year? You said you're an optimist.
That is, I'm just not, I'm not sold on like Illinois and Indiana. So, I just think those could be some teams that Wisconsin could steal some wins from. I'm just not sold that they have like transformed into these dominant programs.
A win tomorrow night at Warner Park would secure a Northwoods League softball championship for the Madison Nightmares. It would be a dream finish to a dream season, where the Mares won 35 of their 42 games and swept the league's Player of the Year, Pitcher of the Year, and Coach of the Year awards. But they say none of that would mean a thing without the ring.
That's always our mindset when putting together teams. We We want to be the best. We want to not just win the league, but we want to put ourselves head and shoulders above anyone else. Given the season we've had, the expectations are to win the championship, and that's kind of the mindset that we're in. That's where our coach is at, that's where our team is at, and I think everyone's kind of in that same mindset right now.
The Brewers now have the best record in baseball by 3 games. They're back in Atlanta, and you can watch them play right now against the Braves on our sister station, Television Wisconsin. Just flip over that channel.
Just keep winning, Brew Crew. Let's go to Alex. Final check of the forecast.
Yeah, all we need to do, let's look at the 10-day forecast. 85, a little bit of smoky conditions on Wednesday, and then we turn on the heat and the humidity as we head towards the weekend highs up near 90. Best chances for storms with that heat and humidity. Looks like it will be as we go Sunday going on into Monday and staying warm and humid the whole 10 day.
We'll take it.
All right, Alex, thank you. Thanks for joining us. Entertainment Tonight's coming up next.
And be sure to come back and join us at 10 o'clock. You can always find us streaming as well 24/7 on Channel 3000+.